You're listening to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. Welcome to episode 2 of the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. I'm Sooltime, and I'm joined by Salliebug 2. Salliebug, can you hear me?
I'm here.
Oh, Greenstego joined us. How nice. Hey, Greenstego, what do you think of the new trailer that just dropped?
New trailer revealing even more Beyond Light content, just ever so slightly, was amazing. I'm a big fan of the new abilities. I'm a big fan of that Void Wall grenade, making that ice wall.
That was a little exciting. To throw something up like against a wall to that you then can jump up on to achieve new heights. Now, that's exciting in one respect, but being someone that is jumping challenged. Is jumping challenge. It's also, I could see it's just bringing my jumping challenges to a whole nother level. It's like, Not only do you have to jump this puzzle, but you have to build it as you're jumping. I think this is one of the reasons why I have stayed one of many reasons, that I've stayed away from Fortnite is because it's like, all right, I need to build and jump up on this and then shoot kind of all at the same time. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. That seems a little bit, it's a little bit scary. And I think I alluded to this and I feel like it looks like we're good to go, Sooltime. Things have
mellowed out.
Sooltime, can you say something? Because I can't hear you now. Okay, so Sooltime's gone, but we can be heard. We'll get this going eventually.
Oh my goodness.
So at any rate, I sounded a little more apprehensive than I actually am. I really am super excited about this new ability, and it's fun to it's injecting some newness, not just, a new location and a new storyline, but also adding this piece. I've always in any of these dark versus light type games, I've always veered towards the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just something about doing the dark, but on the other hand, I'm excited about exploring new things that my character can do, and I'm excited about it. I'm just apprehensive because it's a new learning curve, and my learning curve is takes longer than others.
And I think that the darkness in Destiny, the Destiny universe, is a lot more interesting with the way that it's seducing Guardians to experiment with its powers, because a lot of the times in these games where there is a binary between either light powers or dark powers, the way that you enhance your progress towards the path of darkness is by making mean moral choices.
Right.
Let this person die or steal this kid's lunch money in Fable and I think that for one, when you're playing those games, it just feels a lot more wholesome to choose the side of lightness, the side of good.
Right. We can hear you.
I can hear you, Sooltime. Now, how are the comments coming in through YouTube? Can all three of us be heard, at the same time.
The other thing that I wanted to bring up, Stego, was for any of you who have been kind of following the lore and following the storyline behind what's been going on in the Destiny universe, is it's always been a little bit of a question in the back of your mind of whether the Traveler is 100% good. 100% light, because you think of the history with the Traveler and the Fallen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Traveler picked up and left the Fallen for whatever reason that we don't know, or maybe because it was being pursued by quote unquote the darkness. But I think that question has always been that little inkling of a voice in the back of my mind of like, I mean, we're seduced and we're believing that what we're doing is for the good of humanity, and for the most part, I mean, we're basically just trying to protect Earth and humans and the human race. But is it 100% good? We don't know. That has been a bit of a question in the lore. I can hear you.
It's Ubuntu's fault. Well, here's the thing about the Traveler and whether or not the Traveler is good. It's kind of like, yeah, you can look at it as the Traveler shows up, finally finds some champions that aren't quite up to snuff, but there's some potential there, and so teaches us the ways and leads us into the Golden Age so that we can better ourselves and become strong enough to stand against any aggressors for the Traveler. And that manipulation could be seen as selfish. But we don't really know what it's like to be hunted anytime you're awake or not comatose by these pyramid ships for thousands of years, or however long this dynamic has existed. And, if you're being hunted, I think that you're allowed a little more context to the kinds of rash decision-making that you can make in the interest of self-preservation.
So, man, we are having some major technical difficulties this time around. I'm so sorry. But, yeah,
It's like the Bungie hotfix team trying to fix Telesto.
So I really don't know whether or not we're actually on the quote unquote right side. Now, the reason that we have these superpowers, so to speak, and the reason that we have the light and are able to do these things is because of the Traveler, right? The Traveler came and terraformed our solar system, but we as Guardians were given these powers by the Traveler. He sent out the Ghost and gave us these powers to help protect, but from the chat is like, are we protecting humanity, or did they send the Travelers out and create us just to protect? Is like self-preservation.
Hold on, did I hear you say travelers? Are we
Traveler? No, you're right. It's just one.
Okay.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe there's another one, but as far as we know, And are these pyramid ships in this darkness? Is that what the darkness has been in the lore over the past 6 or so years, or is this something different? I don't know. And is it the right side, or is it? There really is no right or wrong side, but definitely the travelers recruited us.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that the Hive right now are kind of looking at us as like almost jealous in the way that Savathun is looking at the Hive's relationship with humanity, because they're like, no, we're the children of the darkness. You don't step on our turf.
Right.
But also, it kind of feels like the darkness is just kind of using the Hive as like, almost with like a level of ambivalence.
Well, and like,
they're like my firstborn children or whatever, but I'll take humanity. I'll take humans if they end up being stronger than the Hive. Who cares?
Something to this new the new storyline that's coming in Beyond Light. We have a returning character that was always had a mystery around them.
The stranger.
Right. So, yeah. So Stego.
Yes.
The stranger. What do you think?
Rumored to be Elsie Bray.
And wasn't that proven in the lore? Was that proven in the lore? I mean, I could probably look it up on Ishtar Collective. I'm going to look that up right now because I need to know. But also, when we first met, like, she was kind of our guide in the original story. Mm-hmm. The stranger, like, sort of. She certainly gave us some guidance of what we needed to do next and how we needed to deal with what was going on in the original storyline. And so we had this stranger, but not forged in light, fighting something in the background, if you remember, when we had those mm-hmm. first interactions with them. So it's hard to know exactly, like,
it really is.
And they have definitely more information regarding the situation. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm looking at some of the lore. So just
she's a very interesting character. I'm very excited about the alliance, this new Darkness Fire team that's coming about with the Stranger and Eris and Drifter. That's very intriguing where that could go. I don't know about Drifter, but I haven't seen it. But we also know that the Stranger has a floating companion like a ghost, but not a ghost. And so I'm wondering if Powers of Darkness and get her own Darkness Ghost, and maybe same with the Drifter.
All in the Drifter storyline that their ghosts were destroyed. Something having to do with it when he was out with his fire team. I don't know.
Look, it could be. Drifter's been in a number of sticky situations, and it could be either that his ghost has perished, or it could be that in the interest of self-preservation, he doesn't let his ghost come out anymore. Either way, I could see either being plausible.
But
I also don't think I've seen Zavala's ghost.
And you think there would be dark, right? Or Shaq's for that matter. Like maybe their ghosts don't come out.
Mm-hmm.
But that they have them. But we know through the storyline that Eris doesn't have hers, that she lost her ghost a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But she's still alive. So she's still. I mean, I what is it? It's like she's mortal, right? But I'm not so sure.
Like
it seems like they maintain her as mortal, but man, she sure does put herself, for someone who is quote unquote mortal, she sure puts herself out there to potentially be.
Well, she is clutching onto that Ahamkara bone like no other.
That's in her orb,
it could be,
right? So it's that orb that's keeping her alive, right?
Yeah. That may very well be the case.
Anyway, I don't think we're going to solve the audio issues this time around. Can you guys hear me?
Well, the last I saw was that everybody's... we can hear you.
Everybody's coming through. We've all just said something. Through. Can we get a?
Okay.
One more double check. Can Sooltime, Salliebug, and Greenstego be heard? We've all three of us just been talking.
Well, that's just dandy. I think it's a first for this.
Audio has been good.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for
at
the
least
feedback.
from one.
Thank you so much, Fractious Heart and the Funny Bone, the one and only, for supporting us and tuning in today on this beautiful Saturday morning. There's talk of moving this to an evening time so that Greenstego isn't so groggy, but we'll keep everybody posted in the future.
It hasn't been a problem. If the discussion's happening, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I probably won't be staying up until 3 a.m. Playing Animal Crossing every Friday.
Animal Crossing, wow, that's great. Before we end the podcast today, I'd like to just have each of us weigh in about what else they've been ingesting in terms of media, at least, and maybe food as well. But I'm proud to say that I've picked up on Assassin's Creed Black Flag again, and I'm trying to do the achievements, and it's been a load of fun. It's a nice little morning ritual where I can go into the game, see what sequence I need to finish next, and the way the game works with the achievements is you get an achievement for every sequence that you complete, and they're sort of like these missions
that you unlock.
Yeah, that you unlock, and so and I'm going sequentially now, and it's really nice to just go in and I approach Destiny this way when I can, but it's kind of harder to do with Destiny as a casual player. We rely so much on YouTube and Reddit and things like that just so we can get things done, and it doesn't take 10 hours to do a simple thing. But with this, I can go in and play the sequence, right? And just see it for the first time and experience it, and maybe not get 100% of it and all the little subquest things done. And then after I played through it once, then I go to the YouTubes and see, okay, what kind of strategies are available to me to get this thing 100%. So it's kind of first, going in blind and having fun that way. And then the fun of carrying out somebody's strategy, or looking at their strategy and saying, you know what, I could probably do that without the sleep darts, or without doing whatever they did, and do it my own way. So it's a lot of fun. It's a very satisfying gaming experience.
You like taking on that challenge?
Yeah, it's been fun, and it's a break from Destiny, which at the rate that Salliebug and I have been playing it is most welcome. as well. And Greenstego, you mentioned Animal Crossing. If you're staying up till 3 a.m., I'm imagining it's pretty good.
Yes. Well, there was a development in our island, and we decided to restart, get a fresh island, and plan things a little bit more from the get-go. Excellent. In terms of the way that we're going to develop our island. And so Cassia and I have been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Nintendo Switch for a few days.
Do you have two Switches so that you two are playing together, or are you just doing one where you're playing together?
We're doing one. We're building one island paradise together that we can both live on.
That sounds like fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Salliebug,
it is. What have you been up to?
A lot of just watching. Like I'll sit and like either do, because my stationary bike is in our living room, just so that I remember to get on it and stay active, especially important during this. Especially important during this quarantine. So I enjoy getting on that and watching you do your challenges. Maybe give you a little feedback again, but that goes back to our old kind of RPG games. And I've done this with you with previous versions of Assassin's Creed, and like either trying to get all the flags or just helping you kind of work out how are we going to, I need to get from here to there, and I need to get these things done, and how do I do it? So I just, again, what I like to call backseat gaming. So I've been doing a little of that. And it's kind of nice because when we play Destiny, we're not in the same room, which isn't, it's not ideal because we like to be with each other in our free time. And so it's nice that we have that. And of course, watching, we had already mentioned staying with the pirate theme of watching the five Pirates of the Caribbean movies over the past. Although I'm a little disappointed because we found out that the last one, which is the one that we watched last night, is only available through TBS right now because I guess they have
on Disney. It's probably on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, it's probably on Disney as well. Yeah. But we don't have a Disney subscription. We had it originally, and then we got rid of it because we just weren't using it enough. We watched it. We wanted to watch The Mandalorian, so we got it initially to watch The Mandalorian, and then I watched a few old movies. I think a couple of them.
That darn cat.
That darn cat. Just like some fun nostalgic type stuff. But then it was like for the. And it's not really that expensive. What is it? $10? Is it $10?
$3 a month.
Do you know?
I think it's $50 a month.
I think it's. I forget exactly. I think it's $60 for the whole year, maybe $70.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not really that bad, but we also weren't using it, right? And we have so many other subscriptions. It's like, okay, what's going to go away? What are we using versus what we aren't? So we found access to other Pirates of the Caribbean, but this one in particular, this last one, we found our only access to it was through TBS. And I was like interested. I was like, this one's shorter than all the others because all the others have been like 2.5 hours plus. And this one's only 2 hours. And then come to find out, no, it's 2.5 hours. It's just the television version of this one. They cut out 30 minutes. So now I feel cheated and feel like I haven't watched the full actual version of it. So
wow. Well, I would say you haven't.
So that's we're going to need to rewatch it to find out what they cut out. Probably a lot of the gore and it did feel like there were bits and pieces of it. It's like, that was an interesting transition from this to that. So bits of the storyline. But anyway, so that my favorite YouTube content creators. I've been kind of keeping up with those and watching the YouTubes from the content creators that I follow, that I subscribe to. And
a little Empires and Puzzles on the side as well.
Yeah, and Empires and Puzzles, just another thing that I can do while on my exercise bike. I can
been slacking.
Burn up my energy resources on ENP.
Here's a question. Are there any virtual reality games that are compatible with standing bikes? And Sally, would you be open to playing those games if they did exist? Something like Tron or something.
Virtual reality game. Huh.
I guess this is more a shout out to any video game developers who happen to be hardcore developers, somehow interested in a paracasual experience.
And I do need to say that for those of you who, and obviously none of you know except for Sooltime, because he's in my living room, my exercise bike is not it's not like a Peloton bike. It's not like the ones that are in the gym where it has like handlebars or a screen above it or anything like that. It's a seat and the pedals.
So you're talking about a pedal boat virtual reality game.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, be in a paddle boat, going around seeing scenes. Maybe it's a small world virtual reality ride, and you can just pedal and go in a loop around that famous Disney attraction.
Sometime you did that for me the other day when I was peddling. You just
I was singing "It's a Small World After All" while you were pedaling.
No, you put a YouTube of a tour around the south of France.
Oh yeah, the virtual tours that you can put on. Yeah, those are cool. Those are really cool. Those are fun to exercise too.
So, there are less expensive options out there than of course those expensive.
Well, I think Greenstego was just talking
rigs
in
or the ones
ideals.
where you can I was like, wow, I'm really getting into this exercise bike, and this is kind of like a cheaper one that I bought originally just so that I could pedal and move while sitting and watching TV. But do I want to take it to the next level? And looked at how much that Peloton bike was, and oh my God. It's like, okay, no, that I'm not going to take it to that level. I can get my movement and exercise in without
so you don't
that kind of investment. That's a crazy amount of investment.
You don't recommend the Peloton bike.
I guess you could look at it two ways. One, if you have the money for it, okay. But, and you can look at, if you have that money and you put that money into it and you say, okay, well, I spent this amount of money. I spent $2,500 on this thing, so I should get on and use it.
It can't be more expensive than one of those DX Racer gaming chairs, right?
Oh, it's way more expensive.
Really?
It's I think the cheapest is $2,200, something like that.
Good Lord.
But it's but then you end up having to and then you have you have to get all of the accessories in order to actually you need a mat to go underneath the bike so it doesn't slide all over your floor. And
Well, maybe you could offset the cost of the bike by hooking it up to your to a generator, and you can run some of your refrigerator.
Right. I mean, that was what I was going to say. If you're going to put the investment into it, maybe that's enough of a motivation. It's like, well, hey, I just shelled out $2,500 for this, so I need to actually. But that's the whole fallacy of people saying, okay, having a gym membership, right? I'm paying $50 a month, so I might as well just go and do the gym. Oh, and that's the other thing with Peloton is if you want access to their biking classes, the virtual classes, you have to pay an additional $40 a month.
Yeah, that's a shame.
So,
oh wow,
yeah, it's just it's a commitment. Like I said, if you have the resources and you're into cycling, okay. But for me, it's just like, wow, that's way more of an investment than. And my little cheap bike is working just fine and gives me I have a heart monitor type watch, and I can see how much my heart rate goes up when I'm doing it, and I think I'm doing because I'm really just moving. So if you add the cost
of your bike and the heart monitor watch, you're at Peloton.
I'm getting the amount of movement that I need for my own personal
safety.
I'm not trying to train for any kind of cycling.
Yeah.
Or you
Tour de
could
France.
just get the resources if you happen to enjoy it. Get the resources to just go buy yourself an actual bike and get out there and bike, like other members of our family have done. So So
all right,
there we go.
Back to the pentology.
All right.
Anyway, you can.
So that's what I'm doing.
The Funny Bone says you can make a few DIY cosmetic modifications to make your bike look like a sparrow, bringing it back to Destiny as always.
So there's a virtual reality that I would be totally into.
Sparrow
back to
racing,
Stego's
SRL
idea.
virtual reality.
Could it be that I could pedal and then be on a virtual reality, feel like I'm like on my pedaling my Sparrow through the Destiny universe? Oh my God, I would do that in a heartbeat. So Bungie, get right on that.
The Scourge of the Past segment where you're being chased by the burning servitor. You're pedaling for your life.
You could just, man, I know I would. That would be so much fun.
Now. I want that.
I do. I want it. Oh my God, that would be so much fun. So
you're on the broken streets of the EDZ, being chased by a pike gang.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Well, hopefully,
cool.
I'm hoping that by now we have enough material to cobble together some sort of episode 2, despite the technical difficulties in the first half of the show. So
yeah, you're going to have some editing to do.
Yeah, let's wrap it up and say goodbye to the peoples. Everyone in chat, thank you for joining us. Shout out to Fractious Heart and the Funny Bone for joining us today. And Greenstego, as always, you managed to save the day, and we appreciate you hopping on with us and discussing Peloton bikes. So, yeah.
You're welcome. I'm, many have, well, no one has called me an expert on Peloton bikes except for today, and I appreciate the appreciation.
All right. Appreciating the appreciation. That's a good thought.
I am excited to hop on, possibly get not both my exercise bike and Destiny. I'm excited to do maybe some raiding with our core raid team, hopefully sometime this weekend. So,
do we have like a consistent sign off for this podcast? Like,
we don't, but we actually should come up with one. That I know that other podcasts kind of have that.
Yeah,
seems customary.
Yeah, follow
it
what
does.
everybody
It
else
seems like a
does.
nice way to say goodbye, but we'll kind of have to think about that.
Yeah.
And come up with that. But in the meantime, just say...
This has been episode 2 of the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. We thank you for tuning in. You can follow us on Twitter at ParacasualP. Of course, you can email us at paracasualpodcast@gmail. And you can find us on YouTube as well under the same name. Thanks, folks, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.